Hi there folks, I'm Alex from the Southern Ukulele Store and we're back doing it all over again. It's a new year as I film this and it's still very, very dark outside. I'm bathed in the glow of artificial light here today to bring you one of my new favourite ukulele brands, a brand that we featured originally around August, September time. Had a fantastic first delivery, really vast array of instruments, and the second half of that delivery has finally turned up now. We are here today to talk about Millar ukuleles. Millar ukuleles are a fantastically unique brand. They don't seem to have many dealers in the Western world. I noticed when doing my research that quite a lot of the conversations about Millar ukuleles that come up in forums are, has anyone ever heard of Millar ukuleles? Are they any good? And then someone will link to a video with quite a dodgy sound sample from the Far East, and that seems to be the experience up until Matt at World of Ukes bought them in for the first time, texted me and said these are really, really good, and then as they say, the rest is history, and here we are both selling Millar ukuleles. This delivery didn't exclusively feature Mahogany instruments. Many of the popular instruments from the first video I made are back in stock as I film this and as you are watching it on the day of release. But today we are going to look at Mahogany ukuleles because we have pretty much the full range of Mahogany ukuleles available. We're going to focus mainly on concerts and tenors, but stay around for the end of the video or skip ahead to this time here and you will be able to have a look at a very special soprano ukulele that we're featuring on behalf of our friend Matt at World of Ukes. In the meantime though, we are going to start with the TM240 and TM260, which are Satin Mahogany concerts and tenors. Let's see what you think. Okay, and the first ukulele we're going to look at today is the very understated looking, very classy looking Millar TM240. The TM240 is all solid mahogany, a really, really nice straight grained mahogany on the front, back and sides, a really nice curvy Martin style shape to the body with a rosewood fingerboard and bridge, a very elaborate tie-on bridge there, with bone nut and saddle, 35mm nut width. The neck is also a satin mahogany with some really nice traditional style black button open gear tuners. The manufacturer of these tuners I think are De Jong, who make really nice quality alternatives to Grover and Gotos. You have traditional white mother of pearl fret dots, but this ukulele is very similar to Kawaya Artist Series ukuleles. It's based on the traditional Martin uke from the 1920s and 30s. There's nothing too aesthetically I can't pair these words together, I've tried before. There's nothing too aesthetically thrilling about this ukulele, but the sound is great. It has a really warm traditional edge to it. If you want something that will invoke the spirit of the early mainland US ukuleles, not just Martin, but you know, the 60s Harmony ukes and old Gibsons and plenty of things that were all solid mahogany, then this is a fantastic choice, as is the sister ukulele to it here, which is the TM260. So the TM260 has all the same spec as the concert, all solid mahogany on the top, back and sides with a satin finish, a tie-on bridge with a rosewood fingerboard and bridge, and those open back tuners. This also has a 35mm nut width, and one interesting feature about the this particular TM260, I don't know if it's going to be the same going forward, is that it comes with a set of D'Addario black nylon strings with a wound third string, very similar to Pono, which is worth bringing up because the brand that this ukulele is most hotly compared to and judged against would be a standard Pono, and I think it compares very favourably. You know, I may be putting my neck on the line here, but I personally, you know, for the same kind of money, I would choose a Millar over a Pono. But there are so many brands that the quality control and the build of the Millars remind me of, talking about things like Big Island and Rebel and the OPOs, things that are made in much smaller numbers than a Chinese mass-produced instrument. This feels like somebody made it, not a machine, not not the literal machine, but you know, the machine of different people doing different things. This feels like it was made with love. Same with this one. Anyway, that's enough talking about these. We're going to give the TM240 Concert and TM260 a play and see what you think. Okay, hopefully you're digging the TM240 and 260, because the next two ukuleles we're going to look at are an extension of that. Very much the deluxe next step up. The next two ukes we're going to look at are the Millar TM240 WG and the Millar TM260 WG. Now, the first obvious difference between the two, you have the TM240 and the TM240 WG. The WG stands for the gloss. I'm not sure what the W stands for. Somebody will educate me in the comment section. But you do have some other differences as well. The WG model comes with this Nunez-inspired ebony maple binding that's around the front, around the back, and in a sound hole rosette. It gives the whole thing that early Portuguese inspired kind of 18th century ukulele vibe about it. The other difference I forgot to mention in our previous video about these is the binding extends all the way around the headstock, so all the way around the top. The whole thing has been really refined and built as a deluxe model, but price wise it might surprise you when you look at the links in the description for this video. The difference in price between the two is not drastic. If you want something that looks a bit regal, this is perfectly affordable, and a really affordable alternative once again to Pono, the higher end Kala ukuleles, Lanakai, Big Island. There's so many brands that are vying for your attention between £300 and £1,000, and I really think that Millar have just jumped out as being a really worthy alternative, and yeah, I'm enthusiastic about them because they are that good. The tuners on the back are gold open back tuners on the deluxe model. Once again, they are made by De Young, and you have a black button on the concert. But interestingly, on this tenor that arrived this week, we also have the amber buttons. So slightly different look, slightly different vibe. The tenor has the same spec, otherwise it's a tie-on bridge. This one doesn't have the wound third like the Satin Mahogany version. This has Worth Browns, which are an all fluorocarbon set on. And yeah, the TM40WG and the TM260WG, two more ukuleles that really tick the box and scratch that itch if you are after a traditional style mahogany ukulele. Now, if you say traditional with ukulele, why do you necessarily think mahogany? Well, there are two schools of thought. If you look back at the history of the ukulele, you have the Hawaiian way, which is indigenous woods to Hawaii, which is koa. More recently you have mango, some acacia, but koa is king in Hawaiian made ukuleles. That's what you would expect. But from the kind of 1910s onwards, you had Martin and some other manufacturers building ukuleles en masse, usually in a soprano size, and they were using mahogany, which is much more common, much more affordable in mainland US. So you have these two different schools of tradition going on at the same time, and 100 years plus later, you have these two really rich historical woods that both represent the ukulele in a different way. So we're going to give the TM240WG and TM260WG a play and see what you guys think. These are excellent. Welcome back, folks. Hopefully you're still with me. The last ukulele we're going to look at today is something that we really had nothing to do with. It's something that interested us because a friend of the shop, a really well-known and respected UK player and teacher, put his name on this ukulele, and we really wanted to help get it out there. We do have one for sale. I'm not sure how that will be on an ongoing basis, but the ukulele we're going to look at today finally is the Millar Phil Doleman signature soprano ukulele. Now, just before we went to that last audio sample, I talked about the tradition of the ukulele, and if you follow it back just over 100 years, you will have a World's Fair where a Hawaiian person shows somebody from the East Coast of America a ukulele for the first time, and they go, yeah, do you know what, that's great, let's have some. And then before you know it, you've got Nazareth, Pennsylvania, where Martin are making them. I'm skipping over some parts in history here, but there will be a great video on the history of ukulele somewhere. I'm sure you can find it. But you have Martin making these soprano ukuleles, and they are frankly saving the company at a bad time in US history. You have these ukuleles being made in much bigger numbers than the guitar, and that went on for a short while. The Martin Sopranos of that era are really, really well regarded and considered to be a landmark moment for the ukulele. And going forward 100 years, that's the ukulele that most people try to copy, except perhaps a Kamaka soprano. And Millar have had a go. So Millar have made a Phil Doleman signature, which is a satin finish, solid mahogany soprano in the traditional soprano shape. With traditional soprano spec in the hand, it's nice and comfortable. The fretboard does not end at the body, it extends to the end, so more like a kind of later style early soprano. You have a 35mm nut width with Du Young planetary tuners, which are just a tiny bit longer and thicker than a Goto planetary tuner, but are completely serviceable as a reliable friction tuner that's not really a friction tuner. The difference between the friction tuner and geared tuners are, a friction tuner is held by friction, a geared tuner has a cog, and then this planetary style tuner that sits in the middle has a very low very high turn rate, so you turn it quite dramatically and the string will go up and down very quickly, as opposed to kind of a watch style cog. Hopefully I've explained that well. And yeah, what you end up with is the Phil Doleman Millar signature. It's a fantastic ukulele. I will put a link in the video in the description for Matt Warren's video from World of Ukes about this instrument, as it's really his to talk about and tell. But I think it sounds and feels great. I'm really excited to be on board and sell one here and there on behalf of Matt and Phil Doleman here at the Southern Ukulele Store. And I'll put a link for this instrument in the description too. Yeah, the Phil Doleman signature Mahogany Soprano by Millar. Let's give it a play. So there you go, folks. We've looked at Millar Mahogany concert and tenor ukuleles today, with a soprano thrown in at the end for good measure. But what was your favourite? What are you thinking? What are you liking? Mahogany's not always what everyone wants to go for. I think it's a visual thing more than a sound thing, because for me today, I don't always feel like clicking record and pressing play and starting to play when the camera's rolling. But I started playing the first ukulele in this range today and I just didn't want to stop. That's the real testament to these instruments. The first time I saw a Millar ukulele, I purchased it within 5 minutes. I just made a decision and bought it, and I think that they are just fantastic for the price. But yeah, I would love to know your thoughts. Are you a Millar owner? What do you think? Let us know in the comments section. In the meantime, if you have any questions for me, you can contact me in store on 01202 430 820, or you can email me at alex@ukulele.co.uk. I'd also love it if you checked out my channel, which is the Ukes with Alex channel, which you're seeing hopefully on one side or the other of this screen right now, as well as checking out our other videos. Please like the video, subscribe, all of that stuff, and I'll be back very, very soon. Thank you.